welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode number 12, Shake the Devil Off. Yep, we start out where we left off with Jacqueline arriving at Karen's house.
Did you hear the Jaws music in the background?
Oh, I did not.
It
That's
was
funny.
so good. It was
I missed
so
that.
good.
So she shows up with 8 heart-shaped balloons. That I didn't catch that, but you said that last week. And there was 1 balloon for each of her citations. She said that they were so that we could let them go to lift the weight of the citations off of her shoulders. But we all know that that is not true. That was just her being shady.
Yeah. Because honestly, even if it were true, you were not invited to this party.
Right.
So this is not the time to do it. If you
Right.
want to lighten Karen's load and let these citations go, pick a different venue, pick a different event, because you weren't invited to this one.
Right.
So whatever you do is going to look shady.
Absolutely. Especially considering, like you said, she wasn't invited. I mean, her response was she came with light and love in her heart because she thought her and Karen were in a different place. Well, if you and Karen were in a different place, you would have been invited.
Exactly. You know where you stand with her. She told you at the boutique, I don't fuck with you.
Right. Exactly. He walks her off the property. And the ladies sit down to eat. And Stacy points out that Jacqueline did not come with love. She brought the balloons for each of the citations. And Giselle is like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And she didn't. She really didn't. You could see that she didn't. She thought it was like, okay, like you're coming.
Yeah, she's like, I just took my balloon.
Right. Exactly. Right. I thought she was coming with love. There were hot balloons, right?
And Mia was trying to defend her.
Well, of course, it was Mia.
I would have told Mia to leave.
She should have, because Mia's the one who gave her the address.
Yes, she did.
And 2, who told her to come because she tried to invite her.
Yes, she did.
You know, Jacqueline is Mia's puppet. And I've been saying this. She is Mia's puppet. And
because this all goes back to Karen and Giselle saying that Mia wasn't doing the right thing by her kids, having Ink around. And like, what was that, the first episode this season? It all goes back to that.
Yeah. So Giselle says that, she had no idea that, she was being shady. And after she realized it, she's like, oh. And then in her confessional, she's like, listen, Jacqueline, I was rooting for you, girl. But now, girl, you're gone. I'm done.
Yep.
They're all getting ready for their trip to Panama. And
wait, how about Mia in the pool twerking first?
Oh my God, that was so ridiculous.
Thank God nobody's husband was really paying attention. She's just trash.
She really is.
100% trash.
She really is. She really is. Because even Wendy said, look. And he's like, oh, no, Eddie, don't look. When Wendy saw her.
I don't think Eddie was looking.
No, he wasn't.
He might have been, but.
No, he wasn't. Because that was trash. There was no need for that.
Yeah. Like, stop.
There was no need for that. So they're all getting ready to go to Panama. And Jacqueline is invited to Panama.
Yeah.
They arrive at the airport one by one, and Giselle goes up to Karen and says, are we gonna fight? Referring to Jacqueline. And Karen says that she's not gonna fight, that, she's good. And she's just, they're gonna school Jacqueline. Her and Giselle say they're going to school Jacqueline. Mia says she needs this trip and that she's arranged for her nanny to watch the kids, which I was glad to hear that she was going to have a nanny watch the kids. I didn't realize that both her and Jacqueline use the same nanny. I should have realized that because we kind of knew that from the past and that the kids were going to be at Jacqueline's house.
Right.
With the nanny, which we find out later. They land in Panama and Wendy lets them know that there's going to be 3 villas and that they're each going to have their own room. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
God.
Finally, someone's planning a trip where they don't have to share rooms or bunk beds or bathrooms, right? And she's going to let them know who's splitting up the villas, like who's going to be in which villa. We also find out that the ride from the airport to the villa is
2 hours. That's a long ride. But you know what? Most of the girls were wearing nice flowy dresses, which I thought were very comfortable to fly in.
Yes, and to sit in the car for 2 hours.
Yes.
Because I don't know how long the flight was to Panama. I don't know. But 2 hours in the car, I wouldn't be loving that either, to be quite honest with you.
Hell no.
So Stacy asks Ashley while they're on the ride, like what she meant about Spidey vibes, referring to TJ. she said that he just seemed a little bit off. And Stacey says she's not in a position to have a romantic relationship with another man until she gets through the divorce, which I get that. She just
I
came
get
to
it
that.
too.
She just came to that conclusion, though, after the girls pointed it out to her. You know, when she was going to mediation, they're the ones who said, like, you really should not be doing this, right?
Right.
And I
Right.
don't know if you saw it on social media, but somebody posted it, and I was like, yeah, it's such a good point. Like, if he's such a Christian man, TJ, why is he dating someone who is not divorced yet?
Right.
It's a very valid point.
It is a very valid point. I honestly think that he's gay and he just wants to be on TV. This is an opportunity for him, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I think she was probably like, fine, because my soon-to-be ex-husband doesn't want to film with me anyway. So, and maybe the ex-husband doesn't really want the daughter on too much. I know she was on briefly, but...
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Stacey's in on it, then I'm more okay with it. But I don't feel like Stacey's in on it.
You don't?
I don't. I really think that Stacey's like oblivious to it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think she's in on it. I think whatever arrangement they're at, she's in on it.
I feel better about it if she is in on it, but
worse.
You know, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Kiarna said that Stacey and TJ had a Christian kiss.
Yes.
At the
love. Yes.
Lagoon.
Ashley admits that she has real feelings for Josh.
Yeah,
and
that's cute.
She hasn't felt this way about anyone since Michael. Which I was surprised. I was very surprised to hear because I really do. I mean, she did love Michael. That was not just, I mean, she likes that dorky white man type. Like, that's her type. I mean, I don't. Well, some would say I do, actually.
I need somebody who can make me laugh. That's all I know.
I agree with that. I mean, laughter is definitely important. She also said that, you know, she had dinner with him last night and then he drove her to the airport in the morning. Mia says, so he slept over. And Ashley laughs. She said that, you know, she had sex with a pool boy. Was he a pool boy? Was she referring to him as a pool boy?
I don't know. I didn't catch that.
Or maybe,
I don't know. I didn't catch the pool boy comment.
Yeah, they said, Ashley, you had sex with a pool boy. I didn't know that he was a pool boy. I don't know. But then, so then they were calling him Jack Harlow. I don't know who Jack Harlow is.
I don't either. I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, maybe Jack Harlow is the pool boy because I was like, who's Jack Harlow? Am I supposed to know who this is?
Who Jack Harlow is. Either. And I meant to look it up.
So then Wendy says about Jack Harlow.
There's a rapper and a singer. Oh, he does not look like him.
Oh, so the Wendy's like, I don't even know if he's as accomplished as Oh, no, he doesn't look like him.
He doesn't look like him.
No. Then Wendy says, I don't even know if he's as accomplished as Jack Harlow.
Listen, he got Ashley.
That's
so he's
right.
accomplished there. And she seems very happy. So I don't know why Wendy keeps clowning on him.
I don't know why either. And I'm happy.
Let it be.
I'm happy for Ashley.
Yeah.
I'm happy for her.
Me too.
So then we find out who the villas are going to be. So villa number 1 is where Wendy's going to be, and she's sharing with Kiarna and Mia. Villa number 2 is going to be Ashley, Aaron, and Jacqueline. I mean, that was shady AF. And she did it on purpose. Wendy did it on purpose.
She totally did it on purpose.
Right. She totally
admitted it.
Yeah, she did admit it. Putting Karen and Jacqueline in the same villa?
That was not nice.
No.
But I am glad she didn't put Mia and Jacqueline together because I think that they need some separation, those two.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. No, because they're like Giselle and Robin used to be.
Absolutely.
Right? The two of them gang up.
Yeah.
And then villa number 3 is Stacey and Giselle.
Which is even more funny because Stacey is going to bug the shit out of Giselle.
100%.
She's going to annoy the shit out of her.
And Wendy even says after she, gives out this assignments that, cheers to liberation. Like she did it on purpose. She set them up the way she did on purpose. So night 1, they all go out to dinner to the beach. They know that they're going to the beach, yet some people still wear heels. I don't get that.
Yeah, like, come on.
You're going to the beach.
And I love heels, but not at the beach.
Right.
That's a stupid move.
So then there's these dancers there. And the one dancer, he did appear to be the devil. And, the devil's dancing with Karen. And a lot of the ladies are like, you're going to dance with the devil. And
that was some foreshadowing, huh?
Yeah, because then they ask, when Victor comes out, like, who was that dancer? And they're like, oh, no, he was the devil. I'm like, oh, he was the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they say, well, you kind of gravitated to Karen. And Karen said, yeah, she feels the darkness upon her. Like she leaned into it. But she was referring to Jacqueline as being the devil. No, Karen, that's not really how that works, actually. Like when Karen does stuff like that, I'm like, she is just stupid.
You know what it is? She just, like my mother would say, she just thinks who she is.
Yeah.
Like, she's Karen Huger. She's the grand dame. Like, all right, you got to like pedal it back a little bit. Like, what'd she say? She's going to press charges on Jacqueline for trespassing?
Well, she says that they're looking into it.
Yeah.
They're investigating
you might
it.
want to just focus on, well, we know what happened now. It's all.
Yeah. We're going to get there very shortly.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Because then Giselle says to Jacqueline that showing up at Karen's house with the 8 balloons for 8 citations is effed up in a major way. And we agree with that. That totally was effed up. And Jacqueline says, well, you didn't let me speak about the 8 balloons, what they symbolized, and I wanted to release them. And we're like, yeah, no. She said, I was there to extend the olive branch. And they're like, no.
She doesn't need it.
Right. She does not need it. Karen says, you were trespassing at my home, and I take my security of my family very seriously. It was you and Ray.
You and Ray,
that's your family there. It was you and Ray.
You even said yourself you have no dogs. It was you and Ray.
Right. And you're going through the process of pressing charges for trespassing.
Crazy.
But then she doubles down and says releasing balloons into the atmosphere is illegal because of global warming. I was like, what? Global warming? And then they remind her that she released them for the passing of her mother. And I was just like, Karen, come on.
She's the worst, man. She really is. The hypocrisy. Oh my God.
She's
very concerned about the environment.
I know.
She's very concerned with what everyone else is doing to the environment, not her.
Right. Because you can't release balloons into the environment.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. Wait. Who's policing that, Karen? You tell me. Who are you going to call up the police about that?
Was that what she was going to press charges for?
Trespassing and the release of balloons. So let's just jump into it because we do know that she was convicted.
Mm-hmm.
She was convicted on all of the charges. She was found guilty on all the charges except for reckless driving.
Which is crazy to me that's the one charge she didn't get.
I know.
I don't know what charges she did get, but she was driving recklessly.
DUI, driving while intoxicated, negligent driving, failure to control speed to avoid a collision, and failure to notify authorities of an address change.
It was a big thing.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Yeah. I think she's going to go to jail. I think she's going to see some jail time.
So the sentencing is on January 29th of 2025. So that is right around the corner.
And I don't think that's something that they'll put off because
You can't put that off. I mean, what are you going to put that off for? There's no reason to adjourn that. There's right?
The verdict's in, basically.
The potential sentence is up to 2 years in jail. Yep, up to 2 years.
Wow.
So we're going to have to sue. We're going to have to wait and see. I'm sure her attorney's already filed an appeal.
Probably.
But that doesn't affect the sentencing. A guilty verdict is a guilty verdict. And the tapes that came out from that trial were the worst I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, that they were really bad.
The body cam footage of the police officers on scene, the footage in the interrogation room in the prison. I mean, it was bad.
It's to me, I mean, we've all made bad choices. So I'm not.
Right. No, we have.
I don't want to judge, and I'm not judging anyone. It is surprising to me, I'll put it that way, that whoever home she left, let her drive.
Now, did she leave a home or did she leave an establishment?
Well, that's a great question because on the video, she says that she was at a friend's house. When they say, where were you coming from? She said, I was at a friend's house. So you're right. Maybe she was at an establishment. Maybe she was at a table where, if it's a busy place, they don't know how intoxicated you are. But I mean, she literally could not form a sentence.
She could not form a sentence. And I will tell you this, her only saving grace is that nobody was injured. Because
Absolutely.
if somebody was injured or, God forbid, killed because of that accident, wherever she left from, they are now liable as well.
Yeah.
They are now liable as well. And she's facing additional charges like manslaughter.
Yeah.
Or vehicular homicide.
Right.
You know, I mean, these are serious, serious charges.
Yeah, she was definitely lucky in that respect that she only hit a tree.
Especially for someone of her age and with a prior DUI.
Yeah.
This is not a one-time mistake. This is a 2-time convicted mistake. So we don't even know how many times this mistake has been made. We just know how many times
She got caught.
Right.
Absolutely. Right.
And I do think that her lawyer did a huge disservice to her. I do. Pleading not guilty and taking this to trial and having all this evidence released to the public.
I mean,
had she pled guilty,
attorney had to know that these videos were, I mean, it was discovery. They had to
absolutely
produce it. So how do you claim not guilty when these videos are out?
It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Even if they did not offer a plea deal, which after seeing those videos, I understand why there would be no plea deal.
Yeah.
You just plead guilty.
Yeah.
You just plead guilty. And you take your punishment. And you take your punishment, which is what Shannon Bedore did.
Right. Feel like her sentencing could be worse because she fought it so hard.
I feel like it needs to be because she fought it so hard.
Right.
And because she's a public figure. And because it's her second offense. And because
they're going to make an example out of her, that's for sure.
And because the videos are out there.
Yeah.
The judge has to. The judge doesn't really even have a choice at this point because...
No, I totally agree.
...of everything that's out there.
Yeah. That was hard. They were hard to watch, those videos. They were hard to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, partly because of the ridiculousness of her telling him that Andy Cohen gave her the name the Grand Dame. I don't think he did.
It was Giselle.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And the whole thing about Thomas Jefferson's concubine? What? I mean...
Is that something you want to be admitting to?
No, not really. No. And even when she was saying that she would spend a couple years in jail and that she was okay with that.
She said that?
Yes. I'll be in jail for 1 or 2 years. She said that. I was like, what are you doing? Like, she made no sense at all.
That's what I mean. Like, you couldn't understand a damn thing she was saying.
No.
I think she's definitely going to see some jail time.
I would just
maybe not 2 years, but.
Listen, I'm going to tell you her attorney of record's name just so you guys can avoid him. His name is A. Scott Bolden. He was disappointed in the jury's verdict. I'm sure he was. And he plans to fully pursue justice on her behalf. Anyone in the Potomac area, if you have any kind of criminal charges, please, at all costs.
Steer clear.
Yes, because I do not feel as though he did her justice. No. I really don't. I don't. You know, we'll have to wait and see what happens on January 29th. And we'll be here to report about it.
Sure will. I hope Bravo Docket does one on this.
Well, I do too. I was listening to Bravo Docket today.
What were they talking about? I love them.
I do too. They were talking about the contracts. They were using specifically Leah McSweeney's contract because it was all part of her lawsuit, which is the lawsuit that is still ongoing. Mm-hmm. So they were breaking down her contract, and it's very interesting. It is very interesting, the things that are included in that contract. And her original contract for her first season was 2019, and then they compared it to the next contract, and then they compared it to a contract from a Miami housewife that had happened prior, and how the contracts have evolved. And they explain the whole Bethany clause in detail, and they talk about that they have a bunch of other things that they want to talk about, like the James Kennedy and a bunch of other things. So our listeners should listen to Bravo Docket because we really enjoy the legal side of this whole thing. And we love
Yeah.
to hear it from Bravo fans who are actual attorneys that
Right.
can explain
That's
it
what
to
they
us.
are. Yeah.
Right.
Like they're as passionate about these shows as we are, but they have, you know, the legal knowledge. I mean, I've worked for lawyers for 20 years, but I can't break it down like them.
Right. No, we love that. We love to
Yeah,
hear
I
them.
love to hear it.
Yeah. So I'm sure that they will give us an update, especially after the sentencing. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to get back to this episode.
Yeah, let's get back.
Giselle addresses Mia and says that, you know, we don't bring children up on this platform because of what Mia had said to her at the GNA event about her daughters sneaking in boys when they were on a trip to the Dominican Republic that she saw on the Ring camera. And I agree with her.
I agree with her. I do agree with Giselle. I think that was very messy that Mia did that. I think it was uncalled for. I think that anybody who has teenagers knows that this is the shit that goes on.
Teenage behavior, absolutely.
But Giselle saying to her, you can't bring kids into it after her and Karen brought Mia's kids into it at that birthday lunch. That's not a good defense for Giselle. Giselle should have come at it in a different way. You can't say to her, you don't bring kids into it. You just brought her kids into it. So come up with a different defense, because I do agree with Giselle. I think it was low down what Mia did.
Right. No, I agree. I agree with Giselle. What she did was low down. It's funny because Mia doesn't use that as the defense. She used as the defense what happened about them telling her about Gordon at the GNA event having a hard time and his outburst with her and Ink, and then her posting on social media the picture on Father's Day with her children and the two of them together. That's the example that she used. Like, you brought up my children, which wasn't the right example to use. She should have used the example, like you said, in the very beginning at Karen's luncheon, when she said that what you're doing to G is not right.
Right.
And what you did to your children.
They're also hypocritical, because here's Mia accusing Giselle of putting only happy things on social media and making your life look perfect. So are you. Do you think Giselle's going to put something on her social media showing her daughter sneaking a boy into her house? No.
Right. No.
And you're doing the same thing. You're saying how G has these outbursts and you never see them coming. And we get that. But you're putting on social media this big happy family with all your kids' fathers. You're doing the same thing. They're all hypocritical.
They are all hypocritical. They absolutely are. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I did read several different places that both Mia and Giselle asked the producers to leave out footage of Mia calling Giselle's daughters whores.
I thought I saw that too.
Now, we never saw Mia calling Giselle's daughters whores, but we did see her accusing them of sneaking boys in, which they did do, which Giselle admitted that they did. So I don't know if she actually said the words and they did cut it out.
I know. I'm hoping that'll come up at the reunion.
Yeah, because I saw it.
I mean, listen, if she said that about Giselle's daughters, but I could see Giselle not bringing it up because she doesn't want to bring light to it. And 100%. That's a smart housewife.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
But if Mia said that, that's fucked up.
Right, right. So we don't know what was actually said. We only know what we saw. And we saw her talk about the Ring camera. And that's what Giselle addressed. She may have said those other words that we never saw. Just like one of the things that they were talking about on the Bravo docket was one of the things that's in the contract now has to do with anything that someone brings up on camera about like your medical condition or history is fair game, even if it's not you. And they were referring to the incident that happened with Adrienne Maloof and Brandy bringing up that she had a surrogate. And that never actually aired.
Right. I remember.
Because Adrienne's lawyers, that clause wasn't in there. That's something that was added.
So messy.
Right. Exactly.
Like, what if her kids didn't know? Like, that's what
Right.
I was assuming happened.
Right. Well, and that's what
Because
Adrian, right.
you
Like
have a
she
son,
has the,
you make that choice, and some people have
right.
to make that choice, and that's it. But if
Right.
your kids don't know,
Right. Like you have the right to tell your children
right,
in
of
your
course.
time of what is
Sure.
going on.
And her kids were young.
Absolutely, they were young. And then they brought up the whole thing about like Gordon saying that, he was bipolar, but he said it. He's the one who said it. And
Right.
then Mia continues to, you know, per, perpetuate it with her description of his behavior and how you don't know what
Kinda
you're going
like
to
Dorit
get,
with PK.
kind of like Dorit with PK. So it's interesting. Like I said, the whole legal side of this and the contracts that these women sign, and they were also saying, and we've said this before too, it's a different contract depending on the production company. So each production company has their own contract. So it's an evolution based on what they find and what they want to
Right.
do.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. It really is. But Mia's defense is that, she grew up in a non-traditional way and that she grew up in foster care and that she celebrates everyone who acted as a mom in her life. And she wants to do the same for her children. Anyone who is a father figure in her children's life should be celebrated as a father. And this happened to be a Father's Day post about celebrating fathers. So honestly, when she explains it that way, it makes sense. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
it does. It does.
I don't think that, again, I don't think Mia's that bright to be like thinking this through all the way to come up with this. I think that that really was her rationale for doing the
Yeah,
post.
I agree.
I don't think it was that premeditated because I don't think she's, like I said, that bright. Wendy says at this point, she says she's going to, I don't know if she said this in her confessional or she said it to her face, but she said she's going to meet Mia where she's at. So she's going to accept Mia for who she is. And I think Wendy is one of the brighter ones in this group.
Yes, I agree.
So the fact that she's the one who's saying, I'm going to meet you where you're at. If this is what you're telling me, then this is fine. This is
Right.
where you're going to be. I'm not going to
Right.
question it. I'm not going to question what you do. If this is what you want to put out there, then this is what you're going to put out there. And I'm going to be okay with it.
Right.
And honestly, I think that's the way it should be handled at this point, especially in this group, because like I said, we're not really dealing with rocket scientists here and there's children involved.
Exactly.
Like there's
Exactly.
children involved. Like, let's just move on. Right.
Right. But in the same sense, Mia's got to stop with the other nonsense. Like,
and I think Giselle did put a stop to that with her, confronting her.
yeah. Yeah.
So the next morning, Jacqueline and Karen are sitting at the table together. And then Jacqueline asks one of the servers if he could take a picture of her outside. And of course, he's like, okay. And then Ashley pops her head out of the balcony. She's like, you're asking this man to take your picture? And she's like, well, who was I going to ask? Karen? It was only me and Karen out there. So Karen pops out there. She's like, all right, I'll take your picture. That was weird.
She's like the Brittany from Salt Lake City of Potomac. She's just trying so hard to be relevant, and people are like,
she really is.
just not getting it.
Yeah, like Lily. Yeah, that's so true. It's so
She
true.
hasn't had her, but guys, what about me moment yet? But I feel like it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, but she does it with her actions.
She does do it with her actions.
She doesn't actually say the words, but her actions say it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, like we said, Karen takes the picture of her, but we know it's not a good picture because it's Karen. So
she probably got the phone flipped up to the sky. She's like, it looks great.
Right. So then Wendy comes out with her gift bags for all the ladies with all their names on the bags. And they've got the Panama rum in them and their Stanley cups with their names on them. And they're going to do a tasting of rum and then they're going to do dinner in the city. So this sounds like a nice day.
Sure.
But Mia's not there when all this is going on. And they're like, wait, where's Mia? And then we find out because we see Mia finds out that last night Gordon came and picked up the kids from Jacqueline's house because he didn't want the kids staying with the nannies and he didn't return with the kids. And I don't think she knows where the kids are, right?
She said they are in another state 4 hours away and he's not with them anymore. So
yeah.
where the hell did he bring them?
Right. And why isn't he with them?
Right. Like he just dropped them off somewhere. I'm sure with a family member, I'm sure he didn't put them in danger, but then why would you leave? Why'd you take them
Right.
and then leave them?
Right. So next episode is going to be interesting because Mia's trying not to panic, which I get. I mean, I'd be panicked. I would be panicked. I can't even imagine. And I honestly, I feel for the nanny.
Yeah.
Like what was the nanny to do?
Right.
Like the
Right.
father shows up. I don't know. I think that this is a bad situation.
Real bad.
We're going to have to wait and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be very surprised if we see Karen at the reunion.
You don't, maybe like virtual.
No, there's no way her attorney will let her attend this reunion.
Well, she can't answer any questions about it.
She's not going. She's not been sentenced yet.
Right.
They're going to do that reunion before she's sentenced.
They have to, right? If we're
And
on,
I think,
well, we're on episode 12.
I think once you sentence, like you should go away that same day.
Typically, yeah, I would
Right?
imagine.
So,
I mean, Teresa and Joe didn't.
well, that's because it was 2 people involved and there were small children involved.
But remember, they let her.
There were small children involved.
Yeah.
And there was 2 parents involved. Karen doesn't have either of those circumstances.
Right.
She should be taken away on her sentence. If she's going to prison, it should happen on her sentencing day. She should be prepared to be sentenced to jail based on what the sentence could be for the charges that she was found guilty of. That's crazy. There's no way that Karen is going to be at this reunion. There's no way.
I wonder what's going to happen to her. Like, I know it's so different, like the charges, but, you know, Jen Shah, like, they cut her off. I mean, that poor bitch tried to get into BravoCon.
They didn't cut her off. No.
They wouldn't let her into BravoCon.
They wouldn't let her into BravoCon because she refused to do an interview.
That's bullshit right there.
That's why they wouldn't let her in, because she refused to do a last interview with Andy.
Why? That's not in her contract. That wasn't in her contract. So why cut her off for that?
Well, that's why.
I bet you that's in the contracts now.
Well, that's the whole thing. Now they have all these, all these what ifs. So then now everything's in the contract, right?
Yeah. But I mean, what, that's her. I don't know. I don't agree with that.
She didn't have her court date yet during BravoCon, right? Had she pled guilty is my question.
I don't think she had pled guilty, no. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know if she did either. Because by the time of she wasn't at the reunion. I don't remember. I don't remember. And I know I should, but I just don't. But I know that was a big bone of contention, is that she would not meet with Andy and do a final interview.
Please.
Right. And I can't imagine that Karen will either.
I don't think she will. Well, but who knows? She might.
I did hear that Meredith has been in touch with Jen Shah.
Yeah.
Via telephone.
Do you think they'll bring her back? I mean, people are actually saying that online.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I mean, they brought back Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once you do your time, you do your time.
Sure.
I feel like if they bring back Jen, they got to bring back Monica.
Now you're talking.
Right?
I mean,
if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right.
They have to do that. How could they not do that? They have to bring Jen and Monica back on at the same time. And please, for the love of God, get rid of Brittany. I
say get rid of Meredith and Lisa.
Okay, them too. I don't even care. Like,
Brittany,
I can't stand her and that guy, Jared.
She'll
really
get lost
can't.
anyway. She will get lost. If Jen Shah and Monica are there, Brittany is not even going to, she's not even going to have time to say, what about me?
You're right. And those two would just shut her down anyway.
Well, yeah.
I can't believe nobody has yet.
No, you're right. You're right.
What about me? Oh my God.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we know now, I don't think, like he could appeal it, but she can still get sentenced in the meantime.
100%.
And the appeal can go on. I mean, listen, if she's going to serve jail time, that's in her favor anyway, because it'll be if she wins the appeal, it'll be time served. And then,
you can't hold off sentencing for an appeal. That's not how it works. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. This will be our last episode until next year. So we'll see you on the other side in 2025.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching and listening. Bye.
Bye.